The sound of rain pattering against the windows filled the cozy living room as Maya curled up on the sectional sofa, scrolling through her phone. At 24, she had moved back in with her older brother Arjun after her breakup 3 months ago. What was supposed to be a temporary arrangement had stretched on, but she wasn't complaining. Arjun's spacious apartment in the heart of the city was far better than her cramped studio. "Bored out of your mind?" came Arjun's voice from the kitchen doorway. Maya looked up to see her 30-year-old brother leaning against the frame, a steaming mug in his hands. Even in casual clothes, gray sweatpants and a fitted black t-shirt, Arjun carried himself with the confidence that had made him successful in his marketing career. His dark hair was slightly tousled, and Maya noticed how the evening light from the window caught the sharp angles of his jawline. When did my brother become so handsome? The thought startled her, and she quickly pushed it away. "Pretty much," Maya replied, setting her phone aside. "This rain has been going on for hours. I was supposed to meet Priya for dinner, but she canceled." "Her loss," Arjun said, settling down on the opposite end of the couch. "Besides, when's the last time we actually hung out? Just the two of us?" Maya thought about it. Since moving in, they'd fallen into separate routines. Arjun working late, Maya job hunting and dealing with the aftermath of her relationship. They'd become more like polite roommates than the close siblings they used to be. "You're right," she admitted. "We used to be inseparable. Remember when we were kids and would have those epic movie marathons during monsoon season?" Arjun's eyes lit up with the memory. "Mom would make popcorn, and we'd build that ridiculous fort with all the cushions." Maya laughed, the sound warm and genuine. "And you'd always pick the scariest movies just to watch me hide behind the pillows." "That was the best part," Arjun grinned. "My brave little sister, terrified of Bollywood horror films." There was something different about his smile tonight, something that made Maya's heart skip unexpectedly. She attributed it to nostalgia, to missing the simplicity of their childhood bond. "Well, I'm not that scared little girl anymore," Maya challenged, pulling her legs up under her. She was wearing comfortable pajama shorts and an oversized t-shirt, one of Arjun's old college shirts actually, though neither of them mentioned it. "Prove it," Arjun said, his voice taking on that familiar teasing tone. "Movie marathon, tonight. I'll even let you pick the first one." As Maya browsed through Netflix, she was acutely aware of Arjun moving around the room, dimming the lights, lighting a vanilla candle that filled the space with warmth, arranging snacks on the coffee table. The domestic intimacy of it all felt both familiar and strangely new. "This one," Maya announced, selecting a psychological thriller that had been on her watch list. "Good choice." Arjun settled back down, this time noticeably closer to the center of the couch. "But I'm warning you, if you get scared, you're on your own this time." "We'll see about that," Maya shot back, but she was smiling. As the movie began, they fell into easy conversation during the slower scenes, sharing memories and laughing at inside jokes. Maya found herself studying Arjun's profile when he wasn't looking. The way he concentrated on the screen. The unconscious way he ran his fingers through his hair when he was thinking. "What's wrong with me?" she wondered. "This is Arjun, my brother. Why am I noticing these things?" Halfway through the film, during a particularly tense scene, Maya instinctively moved closer to Arjun. It was automatic, the way she'd always sought his protection during scary parts. But this time, when her shoulder brushed against his arm, she felt a jolt of electricity that had nothing to do with fear. "Still my brave little sister," Arjun murmured, but his voice sounded different, deeper, more intimate than it should have been. Maya looked up at him, intending to make a sarcastic comment, but the words died in her throat. Arjun was looking down at her with an expression she'd never seen before, soft and intense at the same time, his dark eyes holding hers for several heartbeats longer than necessary. "Arjun," she whispered, not sure what she was asking. "Yeah?" His voice was barely audible over the movie's soundtrack. The moment stretched between them, heavy with something Maya couldn't name. Then Arjun seemed to shake himself, looking back at the screen with a forced casualness that didn't quite hide the tension in his shoulders. "Movie's getting good," he said, but Maya noticed his hands were clenched into fists on his thighs. As the film progressed, Maya became increasingly aware of every point of contact between them, her leg pressed against his, the warmth radiating from his body, the subtle scent of his cologne mixed with something uniquely him. She tried to focus on the plot, but her attention kept drifting to the man beside her. During a quiet dialogue scene, Arjun's phone buzzed with a text. As he reached for it, his arm brushed across Maya's chest, an innocent accident that lasted barely a second. But the brief contact sent a shockwave through Maya's entire body, and she saw Arjun freeze, his breathing suddenly shallow. "Sorry," he muttered, but he didn't immediately move away. "It's okay," Maya breathed, but her heart was racing. They sat in charged silence, both pretending to watch the movie while hyper-aware of each other's presence. Maya could feel the heat radiating from Arjun's skin, could hear the slight change in his breathing pattern. "This is crazy," she thought. "He's my brother. These feelings are wrong." But as the evening wore on, those forbidden feelings only intensified. When Arjun laughed at something on screen, Maya found herself mesmerized by the way his eyes crinkled at the corners. When he reached across her for the popcorn, she caught herself holding her breath at his proximity. "Truth or dare?" Arjun said suddenly during the credits of the second movie. Maya blinked in surprise. "What? Come on, like old times. Truth or dare?" There was something playful yet dangerous in his eyes that made Maya's pulse quicken. "We're adults now, Arjun. Isn't that game a bit scared?" he challenged, that familiar grin playing at his lips. Maya lifted her chin defiantly. "Truth." Arjun's expression grew more serious. "What's the real reason you haven't moved out yet? And don't say it's because of money. I know you have enough saved up." The question caught Maya off guard. She'd been asking herself the same thing for weeks. I don't know. Maybe I'm not ready to be alone again." "After Rohit?" Arjun's jaw tightened slightly at the mention of her ex-boyfriend. "Maybe. Or maybe—" Maya paused, looking into Arjun's eyes. "Maybe I like being here, with you." The admission hung in the air between them, loaded with implications neither was ready to acknowledge. Arjun's gaze intensified, and Maya felt heat crawl up her neck. "Your turn," Arjun said, his voice rougher than before. "Truth or dare?" "Dare." Maya's mind went blank for a moment, then a reckless impulse took over. "I dare you to tell me what you were really thinking when you looked at me earlier, during the movie." Arjun's eyes widened slightly. "Maya, you asked for a dare," she said, her heart pounding. Arjun was quiet for a long moment, his internal struggle visible on his face. When he finally spoke, his voice was barely above a whisper. "I was thinking that you're not my little sister anymore. I was thinking that you're beautiful and intelligent and any guy would be crazy not to want you. And I was thinking—" He stopped, running his hands through his hair. "I was thinking things I shouldn't be thinking." Maya's breath caught. "What kind of things?" "Things that would ruin everything between us," Arjun said, his eyes dark and conflicted. "Things that brothers aren't supposed to think about their sisters." The confession electrified the air between them. Maya felt as if she were standing on the edge of a cliff, knowing she should step back but unable to move. "Truth or dare?" Arjun asked, his voice rough with emotion. "Dare," Maya whispered, not trusting her voice. Arjun leaned closer, so close that Maya could see the gold flecks in his brown eyes. "I dare you to tell me I'm crazy. Tell me that I'm imagining this tension between us." Maya's heart was beating so fast she felt dizzy. "What if you're not crazy? What if I feel it too?" The question seemed to break something in Arjun's restraint. His hand came up slowly, giving her time to pull away, before cupping her face with infinite gentleness. "Maya," he breathed, and her name sounded like a prayer on his lips. They were so close now that Maya could feel his breath warm against her skin. His thumb traced her cheekbone with a tenderness that made her eyes flutter closed. "We shouldn't," she whispered, even as she leaned into his touch. "I know," Arjun replied, his forehead almost touching hers. But I can't help the way I feel about you. Just as the space between them began to disappear, just as Maya felt herself drowning in the intensity of Arjun's gaze, the sharp ring of the doorbell cut through the moment like a knife. They sprang apart instantly, both breathing hard and staring at each other with wide, shocked eyes. Are you expecting someone? Maya asked, her voice shaky. Arjun shook his head, looking as disoriented as she felt. No, nobody. The doorbell rang again, more insistently this time, followed by the sound of keys jingling in the lock. Arjun! Maya! Surprise! Came their mother's cheerful voice from the entryway. Maya's blood turned to ice. She looked at Arjun, seeing her own panic reflected in his face. What had they almost done? And what would happen now that the spell between them had been broken? Mom! Arjun called out, his voice strained as he quickly moved away from Maya. What are you doing here? Their mother, Sunita, bustled into the living room with her usual energy, carrying bags of what looked like home-cooked food. I was in the neighborhood visiting Mrs. Sharma, and I thought I'd bring you both some dinner. You two look so thin. Maya smoothed her hair with trembling hands, grateful for the dim lighting that might hide her flushed cheeks. That's so sweet of you. Mom, were you watching a movie? Don't let me interrupt, Sunita said, settling the bags on the dining table. I just wanted to drop these off and see how my children are doing. The word children hit both Maya and Arjun like a slap of reality. They avoided each other's eyes as their mother chatted about neighborhood gossip and work updates. Actually, Mom, Maya was just saying she's tired, Arjun said quickly. Long day of job interviews. Maya caught his cue. Yes, I should probably get some sleep. After their mother left with promises to visit again soon, an uncomfortable silence settled over the apartment. Maya stood frozen in the middle of the living room, not knowing what to say or do. Maya, Arjun began. Don't, she whispered, wrapping her arms around herself. Please don't say anything. We need to talk about what happened. Nothing happened, Maya said firmly, finally meeting his eyes. It was just the movie, the atmosphere, too much nostalgia. People get confused sometimes. Arjun's face showed hurt at her dismissal, but he nodded slowly. Right, confused. Maya hurried toward her bedroom, pausing at the doorway. Maybe it's time I found my own place again. She didn't wait for his response, but she heard his sharp intake of breath as she closed the door between them. 2 weeks had passed since that night, and the apartment felt like a minefield. Maya had thrown herself into apartment hunting, viewing 3 places and putting deposits down on one. Arjun had become a ghost, leaving early for work and returning late, their interactions reduced to polite nods and carefully neutral conversations. But the tension hadn't disappeared. If anything, it had intensified. Every accidental touch, every shared glance carried the weight of unspoken feelings. On Friday evening, Maya was packing boxes in her room when Arjun appeared in the doorway. So, you're really leaving, he said quietly. Maya didn't look up from folding her clothes. It's for the best. Is it? The question hung heavy between them. Maya's hand stilled on a sweater, another one of his old shirts she'd claimed over the years. We can't keep pretending that night didn't happen, Arjun continued, stepping into the room. We almost what? Maya turned to face him, her eyes bright with unshed tears. Almost made the biggest mistake of our lives. Would it have been a mistake? The question broke something inside Maya. Yes, God, yes, Arjun. We're siblings. This is wrong on every level. But we're not, Arjun said desperately. We're not blood. Related. You know that. Maya froze. It was true. Arjun was adopted when she was 5, but she'd never thought of him as anything other than her real brother. That doesn't matter, she whispered. Doesn't it? Maya, what I feel for you. It's not brotherly love anymore. It hasn't been for a long time. Tears spilled down Maya's cheeks. Stop. Please stop. I love you, Arjun said, the words hanging in the air like a confession and a condemnation. I'm in love with you, and it's tearing me apart, Maya sobbed, covering her face with her hands. This is impossible. Our family, society, everyone. They'd never understand. I don't care about them. I care about you, about us. There is no us, Maya cried. There can never be an us. They stood there in the ruins of their relationship, both crying for what they felt and what they could never have. I'll always love you, Arjun whispered. But if leaving is what you need to do, then go. I won't stop you. Maya moved out the next morning, leaving behind not just an apartment, but the most important relationship of her life. Some lines once crossed in the heart could never be uncrossed, but some loves, no matter how forbidden, never truly end.